Welcome parents and students to the 2020-2021 school year at South Ocean Middle School. I'm Dr. Paciullo, principal at South Ocean, and I wanted to take some time today to share our plans here at South Ocean for our reopening under our hybrid model. I know there's a lot of information on our district website, and our full plans are there as well, our reopening plan and our different models, our hybrid and remote model. However, I thought it might be helpful for everyone to create a quick video and slideshow of what to expect when you're here for the start of our new school year, because it does look quite different than what we have experienced in previous years. So I'm going to bring up a PowerPoint presentation that is to run you through what our school year will look like. So what's important to realize is that on the first week of school, the days are a little bit different than what it will look like moving forward through our school year on the hybrid model. Cohort 1 will report for their first day of school on Wednesday, September 9th. Cohort 1 will also take their remote classes on Thursday, September 10th. Cohort 2 will report to school on Friday, September 11th for their first day of school in person, and then they'll take their remote classes starting on Monday, September 14th. This is for only the first week of school. All the subsequent weeks will follow our standard hybrid model, which I'll discuss in greater detail as we move forward during this presentation. Why we are doing this is so that we get both cohorts in school that first week, and we have a day in between on Thursday to fully clean the building before our second group comes in. Everyone should know that we are following strict health guidelines in accordance with our reopening plan and with our state guidance and our health department guidance. We are asking that parents self-assess their children before they send them to school. Staff are also going to self-assess themselves using a district checklist that we have provided them before they enter the building daily. Staff and students should stay home if they have a fever, or if they're showing symptoms of any COVID-related symptoms. What will happen is if a student or staff member exhibits symptoms while they're here at school and they are deemed to have COVID-related symptoms, they'll need to be sent home from school, and they'll be placed in a quarantine room until they're able to be picked up by a parent if they are one of our students in school. And they will not be allowed to return to school unless they have a negative COVID test, or the doctor has deemed the symptoms that they have something different other than COVID. So for example, if a student had strep throat, let's say, and they were exhibiting COVID-related symptoms, but the doctor deemed it as strep throat, the doctor would write that note, it would be provided to our nurse, and the student would be allowed to return back to school once they are obviously healthy to do so. Students that are riding buses, we have a reduced capacity on the bus. All students are required to wear a face covering on the bus at all times. They'll be required to sit one student in a row. And if they do have a sibling, they can sit with a sibling in the same seat. However, if just with other students, they would need to sit in their own row, one student per row. Our bus arrival to school is anticipated at approximately 8:10 a.m. When students arrive, everyone will be wearing a face covering, and if a student does not have a face covering, they will be provided one. We do have masks available that we can provide to students. And we're strongly suggesting and encouraging that no deliveries happen during the day. We are not going to be allowing visitors in the building unless it's an emergency situation, no parents in the buildings to drop off items. So we really want kids to arrive with everything that they're going to need for the day. If they're bringing lunch, they should bring their lunch with them. However, we do have our regular school lunch available for students as well. Students will be eating their lunch in the classroom during the school day. They will not be going to the cafeteria. The building is going to be cleaned daily. It gets cleaned every evening by our custodial staff, and they do a really great job cleaning our building. However, with COVID, we are now instituting other precautionary measures. All high-touch surfaces get cleaned multiple times per day. And in addition, on Wednesday and Friday, which is in between our cohort groups, Friday evening and Wednesday during the day, we are going to be doing deep cleaning. That takes place between our two cohorts, so that way when the new cohort comes in, that room has been completely deep cleaned and sanitized, which also takes place daily, the sanitation of all of our rooms. In our bathrooms, we have placed various decals to indicate social distancing. So we have signs up, which I'll show you on the next slide, which indicate, don't use this sink, don't use this stall, so that we keep distancing within the bathrooms. And the bathrooms will be cleaned throughout the day as one of those high touch surface areas where students are utilizing throughout the day. We are also going to be limiting the number of students in the bathroom, and we do have markers placed outside the bathroom so that students know where they can stand to wait until it's their turn to utilize the bathroom. Here's some examples. So you'll see here, there's a sign that says, due to the COVID-19 and practicing social distancing, do not use this sink. And the sink will be marked off so that students do not use that one. And if there are 2 students in the bathroom, they would use every other sink so that there's space in between. Here you'll see on the floor, we have those yellow and black caution tape looking markers. That's where students would stand and wait their turn to utilize the bathroom. Water fountains will not be used as traditional water fountains. There will not be any drinking of a water fountain from a spout where multiple hands can touch them. Instead, we do have bottle fill stations at our water fountains, which are essentially touch contactless. You put your water bottle underneath the fill station. It recognizes that a bottle is there and it fills it up for you. And we're encouraging students to bring in their own refillable water bottles so that they can utilize that in the classroom, refill it as they need to throughout the day. So, morning arrival. We are going to have 3 entry points in the front of the building. All 3 doors will be open. And we've also put painted markers all along our front sidewalk for students to realize the 6-foot distancing as they come. Only staff and students will be permitted in the building. All students will be temperature checked as they come through the door by a staff member. We'll be limiting all visitors to only emergency situations. And late arrivals will also get temperature checked, and they'll go to our attendance office as normal to be entered into school for the day. Here is what the outside of our building currently looks like. You can notice the white markers all along the entry points, indicating where students can stand. So during those 3 entry points, there'll be someone there to temperature check, and then they'll allow students to either go grab their breakfast to bring to the classroom or go directly to their classroom. And this slide just discusses that. There's approximately 22 minutes between our 8:10 arrival and the start of first period. So we believe that that is plenty of time for us to have all students temperature checked, and then any students that need to get breakfast can do so on our breakfast line. Breakfast will be served in a way that it's just a grab and go item, prepackaged, and then students would take that to their classroom. We'll have teachers supervising the hallways, and the students would go directly into their classroom where they would consume their breakfast and wait for our class or first period start at 8:32. Our classroom procedures will be that attendance will be taken traditionally both when they're in person or if students are on remote learning. Staff and students will wear face coverings during classroom instruction, and there will be designated mask break time throughout the day. Classroom doors and windows will be open to minimize contact and provide airflow in the classroom. We have removed most items out of the classroom besides things that are built into walls or the teacher desk or file cabinets to really just have a limited amount of furniture, which includes just student seating and teacher seating. For the most part, students will stay in the same classroom for the entire day. There are some exceptions for students that have specific programs where there might be only one class offered of this specific program. Those students may leave for one period and then return back to their home-based classroom for the rest of their periods. Classrooms will be cleaned and sanitized frequently. We'll also have hand sanitizer and wipes in the classroom for use by students and staff. And we're really making sure that the distancing is followed, the number of students assigned to the room allow for that distancing to take place, and all of the tables and desks are facing in the same direction so that students are not facing one another. Here's an example of two classrooms. One on the left has a different type of student desk in it. You can see that the student desks are all spaced out, and the one on the right, same thing. Depending on the size of the classroom, you could fit upwards of 18 desks in a classroom, but generally speaking, there are about 12 to 15 students. So the hybrid model that we are starting on has been described before through our Facebook Live sessions with the district and is available online in more detail. However, the quick summary of it is that students are in person 2 days a week, and they do remote learning 3 days a week. So for an example, cohort one is in person on Monday and Tuesday. And then on Thursday and Friday, they are live with the teacher remotely. And on Wednesday, they do remote assignments as well. There's also extra help available on Wednesday. I'll review the schedules as we move forward. Cohort 2 is the exact opposite of that schedule. On Monday and Tuesday, they do remote learning live with the teacher online doing remote sessions. On Wednesday, they do live extra help with the teacher. And then on Thursday and Friday, they are in person learning following their 6-period schedule in school. Here are all of our different schedules in one spot. So you can see here that in-person schedule that I've been describing, our bus arrival at 8:10. We have hour-long periods. There's 6 of them. One of those periods will be a lunch period that we'll discuss. We call it lunch and learn. There'll be an enrichment activity that takes place during that time. And our normal bus dismissal is at 2:47 from school. At the end of period 6, we will dismiss students by grouping to allow for less kids walking in the hallway at one time and space them out as they exit the building. On the days that they are doing remote learning, we have 4 remote sessions. You can see them listed there on the bottom left of the slide. Students, as I talk about remote sessions a little bit later on in the presentation, will have options of taking their specials classes during any of those 4 times. And then on Wednesday, we have our extra help schedule. And extra help is live with the teacher. So the teachers will be live with a Zoom or Schoology link where students can log in between these hour time blocks to get assistance from any of their teachers in that subject area. So in-person instruction includes math, science, social studies, English, exploratory if you're in 6th grade, world language if you're in 7th and 8th grade, lunch and learn, and any additional academic support services that we are able to give during that time, like Wilson Reading or Resource Room or English as a language. Here's a sample in-person instruction schedule for a 6th grade group. They would come in period 1, they might have exploratory with Miss Antos. Period 2, they would have ELA with Mrs. Antos. Period 3, they would have lunch. Period 4, they have math with Mrs. Antos. Period 5, they have social studies with Mr. Schneider. And period 6, they have science with Mrs. Bear. You notice at the top where it says cohort 1 and cohort 2, those are 2 groupings of students. The first group comes in on Monday and Tuesday and has those teachers, and then the second group comes in on Thursday and Friday and has those teachers. So essentially, our class is split in half, and they follow either a Monday, Tuesday, or a Thursday, Friday model. Here's a sample 7th grade model. It's, again, the same thing as the 6th grade model in that classes are split in half. So they might have Mrs. Bing for science, Miss Amador for ELA, Mrs. Lau for social studies. But now you see it says Katsaforos 1A, that's Spanish 1A. So students that take a world language in 7th and 8th grade have that Spanish 1A as opposed to exploratory that they would have in 6th grade. And here's a sample 8th grade schedule following the exact same model, except you see 1B here. So students that are doing a language or in the second half of that language in 8th grade, they might have a 1B language in 8th grade. Lunch and learn. So we're not having students eat in the cafeteria as one of our also precautionary measures this year. Students will have lunch delivered to their classroom. That's if they purchase or if they're on free or reduced lunch. Students can also bring their own lunch with them in their backpack and keep it with them in the classroom until it's time to have lunch. Lunch is a 60-minute period, just like every other period. What'll happen is the teacher will provide 20 to 25 minutes for students to eat, and then they will do an enrichment lesson for the remainder of the period. There's all different teachers that are going to push in during this time. Could be the library media specialist, physical education teacher, home and careers teacher, technology teacher. Multiple different teachers may push in during this time and conduct a lunch and learn. Students may go outside. The teacher may take them out for a recess period to do an activity outside to get some fresh air. They may do an activity in the classroom depending on the weather. This is a purely lesson designed for enrichment. There's no grading involved in it or a follow-up lesson involved in it, in that it's a series or a curriculum of lessons. These are one enrichment lesson, and then the next group would move in as far as the teacher the following week might be a different teacher doing a different type of lesson. On remote instruction, students have 4 sessions and they have to pick their classes to take during those sessions. So for instance, in 6th grade, students typically take home and careers, phys ed, technology, art, either band, orchestra, or chorus, and some combination of those electives. So what'll happen is if we're talking about cohort 1, on Thursday and Friday, cohort 1 would log in to their Schoology page and open up either a Zoom link or a Schoology link to a live session for that course with a teacher. Here's an example of a 6th grade remote schedule. So for instance, if I'm a 6th grade student and I have technology on my schedule for the start of the school year, I could choose to take technology in session 1, in session 3, or in session 4. So right here with Mr. Talon, or Mr. Paris. I can choose that, which section I want to take it at what time. As long as I get all of the electives that are in my schedule done during the remote day, I could take them in any order. So for instance, if I'm a band student, that's really going to lock me into either having band in session 1 or session 4, because that's only when it's available. And then I would take the rest of my classes around that. Maybe if I'm in home and careers or if I'm in PE, I would take it on an opposite section that's available for me. Extra help is differently than done in previous years. It's no longer attached to the regular morning or afternoon schedule. Instead, it'll be 1 hour long on Wednesday, and it's a live session again with the teacher, and here is that schedule. Teachers also have office hours on Wednesdays, so we will be posting a list of when teachers have office hours. That's for parents and students to make individualized appointments with teachers and speak to them during those half-hour blocks of time. It's important to realize as we look at some of these schedules that the teachers are teaching 5 hours straight in the day, and they have their lunch built in the day, and Wednesday is the real only day for office hours and extra help. So if parents are reaching out to teachers during an in-person school day or a remote school day, they may not hear back from a teacher right away on Monday if they reach out. They may not hear back from the teacher until Wednesday when they have their office hours or more availability to get back to you on a question that you might ask. We posted a supply list on our website. The supply list includes a district-issued laptop. It's very important that all students have picked up their district-issued laptop, and they have that fully charged with them each day at school. Students will not have a locker this year. All supplies must be carried with them. So we really made a nice condensed list that really includes things like a notebook, loose leaf paper, pens, pencils, highlighters, we don't want students carrying a whole lot with them while they're here in school, just what they need so that they can carry it with them and take it home with them at the end of the day. We'll also encourage students to bring a coat or a sweatshirt or a light jacket when it gets a little cooler, because we are going to try to get kids outside wherever possible for lunch and learn type activities, get some fresh air outside. Breakfast and lunch will be individually packaged for students that are purchasing lunch or who are on free or reduced lunch. The breakfast, as I described earlier, is grab and go to the classroom. So when students walk in the morning, they can go to a breakfast kiosk, they could purchase their breakfast, or if they get free or reduced lunch, they'll grab their breakfast and they take it right up to the classroom with them. Lunch will actually be delivered to the classroom if they purchased it or they're on free or reduced lunch. Navigating the building. It might be a little difficult to see, in part because of the amazing job that our custodians have done with cleaning the floors and the glare we get when we take pictures, but we've added arrows on the floor. There's a little picture here at the top of the slide where you can see that. And those arrows indicate the direction of where we want students to walk while in the hallway. There's not a whole lot of traffic taking place because students are in one classroom for the entire day. However, there's some movement when students arrive to school, when students are exiting at the end of the day. And for that, we want all students to walk to the right side of the hallway. And we put arrows along the floor so that students will remember to do so. And that'll keep traffic moving all in one direction so that there'll be the least amount of interaction while students are navigating the building. Markers have been placed 6 feet outside of bathrooms, along hallways. There's hand sanitizer stations at the entry points in the morning when students come in. And there's floor decals to maintain social distancing throughout. All students must wear a face covering at all times while in the building. All of our full plans are updated and can be found on our website, pmschools.org. This was just for informational purposes, just to kind of give a snapshot of all the things that we've learned and heard about from our great district leadership and our Board of Education, and all the plans that have been posted on our website. Just trying to condense that for you to make it a little bit more user-friendly, and just to really hear it from me about the things that we're doing to help safeguard our building and make it a great experience, all things considered, and what's going on with the opening of our schools this year. If you still have any additional questions, we'd be happy to assist you. Please feel free to reach out to the main office. Our phone number is here. You can also email me directly. You can email the guidance counselors. You can email Dr. Mays. We would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have as we move forward with our reopening plan. And please note again, this is just a snapshot. If you want the full plans, everything is available. We look forward to seeing all of you real soon and making the most of the 2021 school year. Thank you very much for your time.